Hey everybody, I am Erica Carlson, a real estate agent with Bricks, and I'm also your local neighbor and a former teacher for the Buffalo School District. So if you might find me familiar, like I said, I was a teacher for a long time. I am going to share my screen and bring you the weekly Wright County market update. This information would be important to anybody who is buying a house or has a house, even if you're not thinking about selling it. This information should cover all of those grounds. So jumping right into it, we're looking at what is in bold, and the map on there is just showing you all the active and coming soon properties. So, excuse me, if you're looking back, we have lost a few houses. Not as many people were listing their house this past week. Not as many in that TNAS status, which is just temporarily not available. So really there's probably 13 more houses available that we just can't do showings on. Pendings jumped up. You'll see it went from 205 to 228, and closed jumped from 139 to 150. So, not huge changes about what we would expect. The numbers are still looking a little bit better for those that you are out there shopping. Of course, we're only looking at Wright County. So the data from last week in this segment has not changed that much for the week. Last 2 weeks have been about 4 showings a week. That's stayed very consistent. Again, if you're shopping in Hennepin County, it's going to be much more aggressive in terms of, if you're a buyer, you're going to have a lot more competition in the metro. And if you're a seller, you wouldn't, like if you had a friend that was also selling their house, you wouldn't be getting the same showing activity. So if you're getting about 4 showings a week, that would be kind of on par for the average. And then again, 35 days on market, so about a month it takes to sell a house in Wright County. Again, that is 250 to 500K. The data for the absorption rate hasn't changed that much. The data source that I pull this from tends to go back and switch things as data comes out. So if you remember from last week, it said we were at 2 months supply. Now it says 2.1 because they refined the data. Pretty much the same difference. Compared to this time last year, it is... there's just not as many buyers. I mean, that's just the bottom line. I was like, my brain went in a bunch of different directions there. Like, there's just not as much competition, not as many people out there shopping for sure. So if you're thinking about your neighbor's house that sold last spring and got 20 offers and got 30,000 over asking, it's not that we're not seeing multiple offers, and it's not that there isn't people out there. It is just not the same spring. But in all fairness, last spring and the spring before were rather, insane for buyers. Like, it was very challenging for them. So 2 months, it's still a seller's market, still a great time to sell. In fact, before I forget, in the next 2 weeks, we're at the peak of the market. So if you have been on the fence about selling and you want to maximize your top dollar and you want to maximize the most amount of people walking through your house, the next 2 weeks is your time. You do not wait for it to get green outside to take advantage of the market. All right, in conclusion, I want to offer you a market report. It just tells you exactly what's sold in your neighborhood. It gives you an idea of the average price. I try to narrow it down. So like if you have a townhouse, I would just give you townhouse data so that you're comparing apples to apples and getting an idea of what active, pending, and sold data is in your area. If you don't want to give me your address, then what you can do instead is log on to the link below. I've got city data for Delano, Buffalo, Rockford, and St. Michael listed. If you want a different city, you would have to reach out to me so I can just give you, I can just do it by city if there's a reason you don't want to do it by your neighborhood. The neighborhood data is what's most important to you if you have a home that you own or a home that you're thinking about selling. And if you're an investor, this might be a great tool for you to watch your rental properties. As always, I am here for you. And if you have any real estate questions, whether you're thinking about buying or selling, you want to see a particular house, feel free to reach out to me directly. My number and website are below, and I'd love to hear from you. Have a great week.